represents a great example of a socially active person who really understands and knows how important truthful information is. So why do you think access to truthful information is important in our current society?
Well, it's really simple. We have the rights to know what's happening and what's going on. At the moment, a lot of things has been silenced to us because of their benefits. And I think that because we as people, we need to know what we're standing for. Now, if you see what's going on around the world and how much it has been hidden, it's shocked. It's shame. And that's why, for example, when we broadcast things out, we not hide things for people, because we all need the right to know what's happening around the world.
I absolutely agree. I couldn't agree more, because it is so important for us to understand what the real cause is. And thank you for providing the platform for your active position. And Wandu is also the partner of Creative Society Project. Wandu, I would like also to ask you how important it is to study all the issues, holistically, comprehensively, so in the manner that people would understand what is going on the planet, what is the real situation, and what's happening with the climate, and what the consequences of it, of this climate change are. So what is your opinion?
Yeah, as a refugee in Uganda and as refugees, we find ourselves in difficult situation due to the climate change, due to the wars, due to everything that has pushed us out of our homes and our comfort zone. So it is so important for us to know and to be involved in in discussions that concerns the planet that we live. As refugees, we have questions why we are in this status. Why do we have to move away from home? And it is so important that we join this discussion and trying to know what is the solution for our future and for the future of our children. So I'm grateful to be part of this, and this is really a step in the right direction towards realization of solution to mankind, the displacement, the wars, the climate change, to find the right solution towards them. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well, Wandu, because, when you talk to people who already not observing the climate change from the window or showing some news, or watching the news on TV about the climate change, but they are the eyewitnesses of the climate change and themselves. And they already see how devastating they are. And on the other side, we live in a world where this topic is broadly discussed on one hand. And on the other hand, we talked about it on the conference, we are being lied at. I mean, people don't know how dangerous the situation is, because they believe that if they will, do something to stop the emissions of CO2, they will help climate, they will help, our environment. But, the disasters that are taking place, we cannot stop them by these reasons. I mean, by these means, because the reason for the climate change is another one. And in this consumer format, even the matter of survival of civilization is just the matter of business. It's just business as usual. And this is why it's so important, exactly as you said, to know the truth, to know the real reason. And I would like to propose to watch the video about the disaster of consumerist format, about the consequences and the real picture, the face of this consumerist format.
In this video, we had to change some words and expressions using milder terms. but we hope that the severity of the problems looming over our society will still be evident. In the 21st century, human civilization boasts about its high level of intellectual development and incredible technological achievements. At the same time, at least half the world's population do not receive the health service they need. 8 million deaths occur every year as a result of poor quality of medical care. Healthcare costs are so high that they drive about 100 million people into extreme poverty each year. Living below the poverty line leads to an increase in child labor. Nearly 1 child out of every 10 is forced to work. Often, this work involves hazardous machinery and poisonous fumes. The list of products produced by child slave labor includes gold and precious stones, coffee, cocoa, rice, baby products, and clothing. According to UN statistics alone, more than 40 million people are victims of modern slavery. Forced labor, child labor, forced marriage, debt bondage, human trafficking for illegal exploitation, and recruitment of children for armed conflict. In the consumeristic format of society, people have already surpassed wild animals in terms of cruelty. More and more often, children are used as live bombs. In Nigeria, criminals put an explosive on a girl with a baby in her arms. After years of warfare, the economic crisis and drought have caused famine in Afghanistan. There is a well-known case where a mother was forced to sell her little daughter for 400 euros to feed her other children. Today, more than 41 million people are one step to death from starvation, and about 811 million people are starving. Meanwhile, every year, more than 1 billion tons of food are thrown away, and unsold goods, including those produced by means of slave labor, are destroyed. The absurdity of consumer society is that a human himself has become a commodity. Annual income from human trafficking worldwide is $150 billion, which is the largest source of illicit profit in the world. There are 534 human trafficking flows registered in 148 countries. The number of detected child victims has tripled over the last 15 years. Victims of traffickers are mainly migrants and jobless people, as they are the most vulnerable. International treaties proclaim goals of ending poverty and slavery. But in the context of a mass consumption economy, the whole system is designed to protect private capital. In the consumerist format of society, money is more valuable than human life. Worldwide, more than 2 million children a year become victims of trafficking for all kinds of exploitation. In Mexico, 25% of all women who are victims of trafficking are girls under 18.
Please help. My husband threatens me. He beats me. He forces me to have sex with his friends who come here so he can make money. They started beating me, pouring alcohol on me, making me drink, pointing a gun at me, saying they would kill me and no one would ask about me, no one would know where I was. And they opened the window and said, "Jump or we will shoot you in the head."
And did you jump?
Yes.
From which floor?
I think it was the 5th floor.
In the consumerist format of society, people are ready to kill each other to satisfy ambitions for fun and profit. Illicit trafficking of human organs worldwide is estimated at $600 million a year. According to WHO statistics, 10,000 human organs are illegally transplanted every year. In Nigeria, special baby factories are set up on a massive scale where children are bred like a livestock. Teenage girls are forcibly impregnated and coerced to bear their life commodity for sale.
But most of them are pregnant teenagers. They were held captive for one purpose, to force them to give birth. The kidnappers were making money on selling the babies. I got a call at 6 a.m. this morning saying that there were kidnappers at the school, that all our children had been kidnapped, including my daughter. We rushed there. It was confirmed that they had all been captured.
Are we human civilization if human life has no value on this planet? To change this, we all need to stop supporting the consumeristic format of society and unite in a common goal to build the creative society.
A very difficult video to watch, but very important for all of humanity to understand what is going on. I wanted to ask my second question to Ernold. As we look at the state of our society, at all the crimes against humanity that are being committed everywhere, we realize that we are all at a dead end if we are inactive. Why are we passive? Why do you think people are passive in general? Why is it so important not to be silent?
Well, this is what, when you watch this video, if we're gonna, let's say, put it on all TVs in the Western world or the American world or whatever in the world, some people will say, "Oh, okay, it's just news just to show us that that there is something going on in the world." There is, and this is sad, but it is true. It happens. The reason why it's been silenced is pure because we need to consume. And if, let's say, if we say like, okay, this is what happened, and you see, and this is, again, this is what you just, that video literally is how the world is. We don't see that because we get, let's say the media has been silenced. Otherwise, nobody is going to consume. And I just encourage everybody to realize that this is happening and we really need to change this because the children are our future and not just a product or whatever they are. Again, they are the future. They need to help to build this world.
Yes, absolutely. And, there are sometimes such feedbacks that, oh, that's so cruel and that's so hard to watch and I can't see it. But the truth is that this is our reality. So it's not the exaggeration. It's not something that we try, to reach any emotion. It's just the reality. And this is really the disaster. And indeed, when we look at the consumerist society, it's not only the consumerism as like we only just buy and consume, but it's also like the whole essence of this format where the human life has no value, so that people, as we saw in the video, just became the matter of trade, and this is really horrible to understand that no one is safe in this world. And on one hand, we see this big amount of problems in the consumer society. Really, what area we take, there is everywhere problem and the crisis. But on the other hand, we see a big amount of organizations or associations that seemingly try to solve these problems. And this is actually the paradox that we see a lot of funds, a lot of money being spent on solving these problems. They are not getting less, they're just getting bigger, and more money are spent to solve these problems. But the question is, how can it be? I mean, Wandu, you are also someone who is dealing with a lot of social matters. And this is the question maybe for you. How do you see, from your perspective, why is it happening? What is the reason that by the abundance of organizations and funds, the problems are still not being solved?
Yeah, first of all, I just want everyone to understand that this is a reality. The videos that has been played and what is happening there are a lot more was happening than that. For example, in South Sudan, a girl child is auctioned for cattle. Girls are like an asset for marriage. Once if a parent gives birth to a girl, they know they have money and they will be able to get money out of it. So children and young girls are like commodities, assets that the people look at as resources towards them. So there are a lot was more happening around the world, and this is because we have come to a point where we see all this as normal, as human being. The humanity that has been lost within so many people. They look at this as normal, since it is not me. It is okay if it is happening to the other person, but all this is really questioning our humanity and value as a human being. So it is really so sad looking at this. Yes, the world is responding. I can see so many taxpayers paying their money to support programs in Africa, in refugee camps, in all those places, trying to solve it. But you find that much of the money is not reaching the local community. This money is either spent in a luxurious hotel, in driving a big and luxurious car, having a very big per diem, and the comfort of the office. It goes more, the logistical part of the office and other things. This money goes there. Little goes to the community. So that's why, as a refugee-led organization in Uganda, we stood as refugees to be counted as a solution. We don't want to sit and just watch. We want to be part of the solution. We want to ask questions. We want to sit at the table and make decisions, so that we as refugees can also have a voice and can partake in the decision-making regarding this, because these are realities happening around the world. Young girls are getting pregnant, they are giving birth to young children, and these children have no future at all, because they are cared for by children themselves. So a lot more is happening, and it is time that the world stand and say no to all this. And this is possible through creative society, in ensuring the right actions are taken, the voices, the approaches from the grassroots upward. The bottom top solution is what is needed in order to solve this kind of situation. So many things are happening and the world is silent. The leaders are silent because they don't care. It is not about their children. It's someone else's child. The humanity value is lost. So that's why all this is happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Wandu, first of all, because, when you see and you talk to the person that is next to you, I mean, we have now, thanks God, the opportunity to talk to each other directly. This is actually amazing that we don't need the middleman who would explain us how to understand this or another question, but we can connect to each other and hear these stories, hear this reality that people live now in. And, as you are witnessing not only the people who are forced to leave their countries, but you're also observing the climate change and the disasters happening in your home and in the neighbor countries. And when we talk to the people around the globe who already are victims of the climate change, then what they say that, we couldn't think that one day we will lose everything. And, many people, hope that they will be warned. They hope that they will be helped. But there is no help, because we live in a society that doesn't care about people. And we see that many people have plans, they think about the future, and they don't even realize that these disasters will come soon into their homes. And that's why this is a big, big question. What is the best things to do now at this right point of time? And of course, the question also, what is the best investment of the future? So we are talking about the future that is very close. So let's watch the video on this topic.
Great. Great to say that, to see that through this video, we can really understand that everybody needs to kind of shift the idea of what is an investment and what is a good investment for me and for my family in the future, and might not think about investing money into something to get even more money out of it, but more investing your person, your time, and your attention into something even greater than yourself to create the creative society. But as of today, the format of society in which we are living is now dividing us and set us against each other. Moreover, human has become a commodity, as we talked about it, and its life is not valuable at all. So why is it important to change the format of society from the consumer-oriented creative to the creative society? Arnold, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, it's a little bit a topic of my heart, though, because what is happening at the moment is we as consumers have requirements. Now, when we look looking back in the past, there was, and I'm talking about, for example, we were eating meat, we were eating vegetables, all these little things. And of course, when we were traveling, we used, a horse or something small, or you just walk. Now, the consumer became more and more in demand. And we always say, we sometimes try to blame the factories, or let's say we try to blame, you know, the big companies, but the biggest indirectly are we consumers, because we want to more and more. Now the best way to stop this whole, because it's walking out of hand, and what we need is less demand, but more supportive, instead of like, I want to have this, I want to have that. You see, for example, at supermarkets, you see people have so many choices of organic food, not organic food, etc., etc., etc. Then I'm just wondering why? Because if you know the background, because how this product has been created and how much time and effort, the reason, for example, I'm not going to call any names, but it isn't a big clothing chain who gets clothes from Bangladesh, get clothes from India, clothes from Turkey. It's not because they produce it in these countries. They produced in these countries because we as consumers can't afford all these clothes, so we need to have cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. This needs to stop. What we need to do is to have less demand, accept that the world needs each other, instead of using cheaper labor. And what you have seen in different already in a different video, if we stop demanding on what we need, there will be less child labor. There will be less people, let's say, have to work for less and less and less money. So we are indirectly the world. We are indirectly the blame. And yes, we like to tell big factories, but what the big factories want, they love they love our demands. And the reason why? Because they can make money of it. So every time we have a demand, they can make money. Now, let's stop this. Let's be happy with what we have, or let's say let's use, reuse, recycle, come together, be a community, and whatever we're gonna do, make it a better world by just not demanding and blaming others, because in the end of the day, we are to blame and we need to solve it together.
First of all, I think it's also, thank you very much, first of all, yes, for your feedback and the understanding that we cannot sell our world. I mean, we cannot sell our lives anymore. And even the question, you know, this little topic of organic food, for example, how can it be organic or non-organic when we talk about the health, about people's lives? I mean, we don't need any choice. We just need the best for each human life. We really need the best with humanity, all the resources, just to provide a safe future, a good future on each continent, because we are one world community indeed, and we have all the possibilities to do so. But instead, we're just selling our future, because many people still don't know that there is the way out. And we see exactly that there is a huge disinformation, that people are confused. And today it's so important to reach out to everyone that there is a way out, and that there is a real threats, just a real threats to us as humanity, because the environment, this is one big topic that we discussed in December. But there's also the climate, which is growing, and this is just taking our lives. And this is not the exaggeration that the climate change, the growing number of cataclysms, about these anomalous processes in our Earth core, in magnetic field, in seismic and volcanic activity, that numbers are growing, and just people don't see the real threat. And we actually should already be sitting on a table, on a global table, and discussing the solution. I mean, uniting the whole scientific potential, technical potential, intellectual potential of us as humanity to find the best way out. If you remember, it was deeply discussed at the conference that the reason for climate change is the cyclicity of 12 1,000 years, and this happening is not only on our planet, but also is observed on other planets of our solar systems. So this is really a great threat. And instead of sitting there, we are being divided. That's really just so ridiculous that we kill each other. We have a consumerist format that stealing our lives and doing just nothing. So how do you think, I would like to ask Wandu as well, that, you know, this change, actually it starts with each individual. I mean, also the global unification of people. But some people are just not sure, or just maybe skeptical about, like, what can I do? I'm just one little part of billions. What can I do in order to contribute this big positive change? So what would you answer this person?
Yeah, we always say when little people in little places do little things, it can contribute to greater impact. So the stand to change the world we are living in starts with you, starts with me. However little contribution you are doing wherever you are, it can lead to a greater change. It's time that we value human life and give equal opportunity for all. We live in a world where we have abundance, but of course, few monopolize that and use that for themselves. It's time that the resources are shared, and the people from the grassroots are given voice and attention to have to contribute and to have a say. So we are looking for a world where everyone will be equal. The value for life will be at the top of everything. The wars and conflict will be minimized. And when we are hit by tragedy like climate change, like flood and so on, we should all stand by each other and help each other. In South Sudan, and there are like areas that are so devastated with flood, like in Jonglei, in Eastern Equatorial Unity State. This flood have been going on for long, and about 900,000 people have been displaced, internally displaced, and others fled to other places where they are subjected to different inhuman treatment and also difficult life where they are. But little does the government talk about it, little does the world support this. So it is time that we really bring everyone, we really get concerned about everyone and create a better world where everyone is important to be and to live. So this is the world we are looking at. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wandu. Thank you very much. And indeed, unfortunately, today we are now preparing to the forum, to the next forum, Global Crisis. We are people, we want to live. And we're contacting people around the globe who witnessed the disasters. And, you know, it's so hard to hear these stories that people are not even warned about this disaster. So many lives could have been saved just by developing the science in order to, you know, develop the early alarm system, not just a few minutes ahead of the disasters, but really in order that people could leave the hotspot zones. So it is just one little point, but what we see that the reporters, the news coming to the places, reporting few days and they are gone. We don't see it in the news, but people need years in order to come back to more or less normal lives. And we don't hear what is happening there. That's why it's so important to bring up these topics, to talk about it, to show the real picture. And most important is also to show that there is the way out. Because many people who really want to do something, there are the most of them that we all want to do something about it. We want to find a solution. They ask, what can I do? And what the solution is. So today, indeed, what we see that in this consumerist format, science doesn't serve people. It doesn't serve humanity. It's just selling and being sold in order to create the better future, but also to find the scientific solution for these disasters and also for preparing to them. So we need to create the conditions. We need to create new conditions where not the profit, but the human life is put first. And for this purpose, we need the unification of people. We need each of us who really want to live in creative society. We need to start informing each other. We are already in this first step. It's already happening. But in order to come to the next level, the political one, in order to implement the 8 foundations of creative society, where the most important value is the human life, we need to reach out to the more of 50% of active electorate of people. And that would be my last question to you, dear friends. How do you think what is the best way and the quickest way to reach out to everyone? So in order just to come to the next level so that we can see the 8 foundations of creative society already implemented in each constitution. So what would be your advice? Maybe Erland, to you first.
Yes, I will say spread the word. We need to talk. We need to let's say show people the facts, what's happening. The thing is, we can't hide this anymore. We have so many platforms. We have this creative society. We have, let's say, all the other other social platforms that we can use. We need to spread the word because this can't go on. And if we people have to help by being one to all this cruelty, all this capitalism, everything that makes indirectly money from, well, what we already have seen. If we spread the word and we hold the hands together as the biggest community and talk about the creative society, I think we're going to achieve a lot, but also stopping a lot of, well, what's happening at the moment. Sad stuff, and we don't want that.
Thank you very much, Ernold. And Wandu, what would be your advice? How can we quickly inform people around the globe that creative society, the society that each person really wants to live in, that is already being built? How can we inform much more quickly every person?
Yeah, there are different ways of informing the people about it, and either through social media, through TV, as I had Ernold streamed such a conversation, sharing it on different social media, television, and so on, is one way of informing the people about it, and also for all those who really see the value and the importance of us standing together to bring a solution to what we are all experiencing, then we will be able to stand and achieve this. So many people need to be informed about this, either through one-on-one talk, either through social media, so that we can be able to mobilize more people for them to understand and come on board with us. So everyone needs to live a life free and peaceful, and where their life is valued. But all that is needed is explaining and helping them to know that there are people standing, there are people believing the same, there are people who have taken the step, and they can join in. So making the people aware that there are people who are already in the same thoughts, in the same journey, then they can be able to join as quick as possible to make this a possibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Wandu. You make a very good point here, because we can talk about something, we can try to inform people, but something that really make people move, it's actually being inspired by others who maybe act already, just because they maybe don't know exactly how to act. So being inspired by you are actually two very good examples of an illustration of how to act towards a creative society in your own way. And it's very important that we can get there. So thank you very much to the guest for this active social position and for participating not only in the discussion, but also in supporting the Creative Society project itself and informing people about it.
Yes, also thank you very much, dear friends. Also from my side, I would like to remind also you and our guests today and the viewers that our next strategically important step in uniting humanity, about informing people about the real threats that we stay on the verge of global cataclysms, that we have so many threats and challenges to us as civilization, and we need to show the way out. We need really to inform people that we have the solution. And this event is the International Forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, that will take place on 7th of May this year. And we will continue to discuss the most acute and urgent topics that unfortunately not covered in the media today. And you're welcome to join the forum, share the information further with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues. After all, this is our common goal of us as humanity.
Indeed. We really need to understand that we are all in a real war today, a war against the climate. And this is our only enemy, not the neighbors, not the other nation, but the climate. Now, many people do not even know what is going on in our society, making plans for the future, as we mentioned, and do not even suspect that we may simply don't have one if we, all of us, as a common humanity, do nothing today. We invite all socially active people to become media partners like our guest in the epochal event, the global crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live. Once again, that will happen on the May 7th, 2022. Today, information about Creative Society save lives. Don't stay silent. Tell everyone about these forums. Thank you, and see you in the next international discussions.
Thank you.